All right, hey gang, just here to kind of go over the chapter one review with you guys. If you have any questions, obviously come and see me. But this is all in preparation for your test, so make sure you pay attention, and hopefully we can do real well on the test. So here we go. Let's take a look here. So as I look at number one, it says name 5 planes shown in the figure. Okay, obviously I can go with the bottom plane, plane P. Okay. Now that plane is the same as this plane right here that I'm kind of highlighting right there. That's the bottom plane. So if you were to say plane DEF, that's the same as plane P. So I don't want to name that plane again. I've got this front face plane. So plane P, I could say plane DEC. Okay. I could do the right side plane, BCE or BCF, any 3 points on that back side. So plane BCF. I could also do plane ABF, the backside plane. And I could also have this left side plane, that slanted plane, so I could do plane ABC. Okay, so all those planes right there, those are the 5 planes that you'd want to identify. Name a line that is coplanar with AD and AB. So if we have AD and AB, name a line that is coplanar with that. Well, you could say DC, you could say BC, you could also say AC. Any of those points would form a line. But if it's a line that they want to see, I would stay with either BC or CD. Okay, in the same plane as AD and AB. Which of the following points are coplanar? M, O, B, and D. M, O, B, and D. M, B, and D are all on plane Q. O is not, so I'm going to say not that one. A, O, F, and C. A, O, and F are all on plane P, and C is above. If you notice the dotted lines here, it's showing that line going above. C is actually above plane Q as well. So I'm going to say not. B, D, E, and C, B, D, E, and C, B, D, and E are all on plane Q. C is above plane Q. So again, I'm going to say not that one. So it must be C, M, O, and B. Now here's the deal. C, M, O, and B, if I was to connect all 4 of those, what you notice is a triangle. And so the plane isn't shown, but they would all be in the same plane because they basically form 3 nonlinear points, even though there's 4 points there. You have a triangle, and that forms a plane. So while it's hard to tell, I'm going to go with plane D, or no, letter D. That might be kind of a cheap one. Which of the following points are collinear? A, F, and D. If I look at A, F, and D, that's not the case. A, O, and E. A, O, and E. Nope, not the case. D, M, and B. D, M, B. Those are coplanar, but they're not collinear. Make sure you have line. Collinear. If I was to go CM and O, yeah, those are all on that same line right there. So again, we're going to go with D. Okay. Which 4 points are non-coplanar? Non-coplanar. They're not in the same plane. B, D, E, and M. B, D, E, and M are all in plane Q. I don't want to choose that one. B, C, M, and O. C, M, O, and B, we just talked about it a little bit. Those are coplanar. Even though there's no plane shown, they would form a plane. A, F, M, and O. A, F, M, and O. Ooh, non-coplanar. A, F, and O are all in plane P, but M is above plane P. So I'm going to go with that one. Let's just double check letter D here as well. C, D, M, and O. C, D, M, and O. Again, it will form that triangle that we talked about earlier with B, but this one's with D, okay? So again, I'm going to say that those could be, they could be in the same plane. We could draw a triangle between them, okay? What's the intersection of CO, line CO, and plane P? So here's plane P, the bottom, CO, it's actually point O. I'm going to go with that one. What's the intersection of ME and CO? So here's ME and CO. I'm going to go point M. That's where they both come together. What's the intersection of plane P and point F? Well, since point F is in plane P, the only place they both come together is at point F. So I'm going to go there. Okay? So hopefully that made sense as I went through that pretty quickly here. Segment addition postulate says if I go ahead and take MR plus RP, that has to equal MP, okay? This plus this equals the whole segment. So MR is this, MP is this. I'm sorry, MR is this, RP is this, and MP is this, okay? So if we go ahead and combine like terms here, and I'll subtract 7 and get 55, that means that if I divide by 5, x has to be 11, okay? Now it says find the length of RP. Well, RP is this length right here, so if RP is 3x plus 7, RP is going to equal 40. And that is the answer there. Okay? All right, now, keep moving down here. Determine the perimeter and area of the given figure. Okay? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show this. I'm going to find the area first. Okay? This whole length down here is a length of 9, and this whole length down here is a length of 10. And so the area, I'm just going to go ahead and do a 9 by 10 rectangle, and I'm going to subtract out this rectangle right here, which is a 4 by 3 rectangle. Okay, so 90 minus 12 is 78 square centimeters. Okay, so that's one way of doing that one. The perimeter, if we look at this side, we already said this was 10 because the opposite side is 10. This side is 9 because the opposite side is 9. So if I do the perimeter, 9 plus 10 plus 5 plus 3 plus 4 plus 7 is going to give us 10, 19, and 19 more, 38 centimeters right there as the perimeter, okay? For the backside, take me back to my college days when I could eat anything and not gain a single pound. Hey, when I was in college, my cousin and I would go to Jack and Joe's and split a 21-inch pizza. Those were the days. If 21 inches the diameter, what is the perimeter? Perimeter, remember, is circumference, which is pi d. Okay? And if we work that out, let's see here. Is my calculator charged? Yeah, it is. Here we go. So if I work this out, 21 times pi gives us 65.97. So I'll round it up. That 7 bumps that 9 up to a 10. So I'm going to say 66 square inches. Oh, no, sorry, that was the circumference. 66 inches around, okay? Now, if you think about that, 60 inches, it's 5 feet around. That's a big pizza. So if we go B, the area is pi radius squared. Now, if the diameter is 21, the radius will be half of that, which is 11.5. So if we work this out, 11.5, let's go squared plus second pi. Oh, no, plus, try that again. Let's go times, delete that. There you go, times pi. 415.5 square inches. That's a lot of pizza right there. That's some good stuff. All right, looking at the next part, use the figure to find each of the following. Show your works, set up an equation, solve for x prior to solving for a through f. So as I look down here, a lot of times kids make this more complicated than what it is. What do I see? I see a right angle. I see in 2 congruent angles. If those angles are congruent, these expressions have to be congruent as well. So I can set those equal to each other. 12x minus 4 equals 13x minus 9. If I go ahead and subtract 12 from both sides, if I add 9, I get 5. X is equal to 5. So BOD, if I want to find this angle measurement, well, we already know what that is. What is that? That's 90, right? Okay, so I'm going to say that that's 90 degrees. AOC, this whole angle, before I find that, let's plug these back in. 12 times 5 is 60, minus 4, that's 56. 13 times 5, that is 65, minus 9, that's also 56. Okay? So if I take 90 minus this 56 right here, that should give me this angle. So 90 minus 50 is 40, so we're looking at 34 degrees, okay? So AOC is the sum of those two 56 degree angles. 112 degrees is AOC, okay? BOC, we already know, is 56. We already plugged in the 5 degrees here to get that. AOB, we already know is 56 degrees. AOD is going to be 90 plus the 56, so 146 degrees. And then COD is going to be 34 degrees. Again, remember, we took 90 minus the 56 to get 34 degrees. Okay? All right. To finish things off, fill in the blank for the following statements that refer to problem number 13. It says OB is doing what to AOC? So if I look up here, what is OB doing to this angle right here? Well, you notice that they're both congruent. What's that term where we cut something and both parts have to be equal when we cut it? Okay, that is bisecting. OB, actually, instead of writing bisecting, I'm going to say bisects. It cuts in half that angle, okay? And then OB does what to OD? Well, if I look at this picture, OB is 90 degrees to OD. So what's that called when they intersect to form a right angle? Well, that's perpendicular. So OB is perpendicular to OD. Again, perpendicular, the symbol is that right there, okay? So whenever you have perpendicular lines, make sure you put in a right angle symbol. Other than that, hope that made sense. Again, stop by and see me if you have other questions. Just wanted to quickly get over that with you. Thanks for your time. Good night.